Welcome to What's Up Washington. Today's politician isn't actually from Washington. He's a mayor in upstate New York. Ben Walsh is the 54th mayor of Syracuse, New York, the first independent mayor of the city, and the first to win without the support of a major party since Louis Will won on the progressive line in 1913. Now, if you're from New York, you probably recognize his last name, as it was synonymous with powerful Republicans for decades, thanks to his father and grandfather. His granddaddy, William F. Walsh, was the 48th mayor of Syracuse and a congressman for 6 years. Ben's father, James, was also a congressman in the area for 20 years. Both were Republicans and were very well liked in the community. Interestingly enough, when Ben was 18 while his dad was a sitting representative, he registered to vote unaffiliated. He maintained this autonomy from party politics, saying once, "I always resented the role of party politics in governance and public service, and I felt it was inherently divisive." Now, I couldn't have agreed more. After graduating college, Walsh got a job in Albany working for the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organizations. Such a long name, I feel so sorry for the receptionist. Now, in '02, he returned to his hometown to run his dad's congressional campaign, helping his father to a 62% victory. Back in the city he loved, he got a job at the Metropolitan Development Association, which was an early iteration of the Center State CEO, an economic growth organization similar to a chamber of commerce. There he started working to better the city of Syracuse and had the idea for what is now the Syracuse Land Bank. Here he was able to work with business owners all over CNY, gaining respect and trust of the people of Syracuse. Shortly thereafter, he got a job offer from Mayor Stephanie Miner, a bleed blue Democrat at the time. There, as the Deputy Commissioner of Neighborhood and Business Development, he made the land bank a reality, led a charge on the renovation of Hotel Syracuse, and worked to restore parks across the city, with a heavy focus on Onondaga Lake Park. During this time, he also served as the president of the Gifford Foundation, another organization dedicated to innovation and growth in central New York. Here comes the really fun part of the story. In 2015, he decided he was going to run for mayor, but was still unaffiliated. He needed to find a way onto the ballot, so he asked the Republican Party, but his lack of dedication by being an independent made many members of the party uneasy. Now, after a fight that ended in the city chair resigning, they nominated Laura Levine, and the Democrats wanted nothing to do with him, accusing him of being a Republican in sheep's clothing, completely disregarding his work for Mayor Miner and the fact that even his campaign manager, Christy Frame, was a registered Democrat. They went on to nominate Juanita Perez Williams. Ben decided to remain independent no matter how hard the Libertarian Party begged him, and ran his campaign against partisanship. He also appeared on the Reform Party line, but they don't really count. The Green Party, the Libertarian Party, and Working Families Party all put up candidates as well. Ben had to prove to a majority blue city that he was not a Republican like his entire family, but he also had to watch himself and not go too far left, and then he would lose some of his early supporters and donors. He was able to walk the line quite well thanks to some help from both sides. His good friend Tim Carroll started the group Dems for Ben, along with some friends, and a lot of people Ben worked with on the Hotel Syracuse project came through in a big way with donations. Then, on November 7th, Ben Walsh won, with over 54% of the vote. In a six-way race, Ben didn't just win, he took a majority of the city with him, proving resoundingly that the two-party system is not invisible or infallible. Once elected, Walsh made it clear he would not play by the divisive games of party politics. As his dad once said, Ben has always been an independent-minded person. In 2019, he ruffled every feather on city council by vetoing a budget that gave him and every councilor a raise. I don't know about you, but I would find it very hard to not only say no to a raise, but to do so knowing it would piss off every single one of your coworkers. He said, "There is always room for improvement, and in particular when we're discussing the potential of giving out raises, it seems like an appropriate time to take a look at the process and determine whether or not there are additional ways that we can show our constituents, our taxpayers, who are paying our bills and paying our salaries, that we are providing maximum value to them." This was the kind of fortitude I had been searching for in a politician. Now, Ben jumped back on my radar this week during these endless nationwide protests when he marched with Black Lives Matter on Thursday. What I loved about this is that he didn't just stop by for a photo op or to shake some hands like most politicians have been these last few weeks. He actually marched with them and led a few chants. It is so refreshing to see a politician run a successful administration free of partisan bullshit. The mayor's history with businesses, lobbies, labor unions, and charities gives him a fairly well-rounded outlook on the political landscape of his city. And he has worked hard to remain a mediator, representing his constituents, not his donors or his party. This gives me hope for the rest of the country. And it shows what I have been saying for years. If you want to break the duopoly, start local. We will never win the presidency without a few hundred mayors, DAs, councilmen, and congressmen already in office around the country. If you are thinking of running for office, don't pick the office that will sound the coolest. Pick the race you can win. You can always move up the ladder of politics, but first you have to get on it. Now, Ben obviously isn't perfect. No one is, especially in politics. But he is doing his best to stay above the bullshit. His dedication to independence and anti-partisanship has made him one of my heroes. Now, thanks for watching, and tune in next week to ask, what's up, Washington?